Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is LJ and you're watching NoClutch Garage. Today we're actually going to be talking about this intake that I got from Vader Solutions. We're actually doing the installation. I did an unboxing on it already. Now we're going to install it. I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. This is actually going to be pretty involved, so you can do this on the ground. I highly recommend a lift. Right now I'm at the shop, and as you guys can see, every single lift in the shop is being used up right now, so I can't use a lift. However, I did opt to do this on the ground, and basically I did that because I know the majority of you are going to be doing this on the ground anyway with some jack stands and a jack. It is doable, it's just going to take a little bit more work. And most of the work is going to be done inside the engine bay anyway. The reason why we need a jack and jack stands is because we need to take the front bumper off, and we need to access those screws at the bottom of the car. So we're going to jack it up, we're going to start taking the front bumper off, and I'm going to be guiding you along the way. Huge shout out to Vader Solutions, Omar, for sending me this kit so I can install it. I can already tell you that I'm expecting this to lower my IATs and in turn return a little bit more horsepower to my car. Let's get to it. Alright guys, and as you guys know, my car is pretty custom. Everything on the engine bay, everything is aftermarket at this point except for the valve cover. We have the MST intake, which we're going to be taking off. Love this intake, but I'm going to be trying the new intake from Vader Solutions. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this intake off, and because my car is set up the way it is, we're obviously going to be taking off those clamps, those couplers. We're going to be disconnecting the MAF sensor. I'm going to have to take off, or maybe not, but I might have to take off my catch can connection, and we're going to go ahead and take it off and start placing the Vader Solutions kit on. The front bumper is going to have to come off, and I will show you how to do all of that in just a second. Let's get started. Alright guys, so now you guys have seen that I took the intake off. I'm going to go ahead and start taking the front bumper off, and I'm going to do that by taking off these first few bolts up here and then going along the bottom and the wheel arches in order to take off the rest. The ones up here, you got to take off this seal. So weather seal comes off and it reveals these bolts right here. These are T30s, so you're going to need to use to take these off. Alright guys, for the sake of being thorough, I'm going to show you guys what you need to undo. There's going to be 2 bolts, one right there, one right there, you can undo. There are 4 along the middle, 2 more on the other side. There are going to be 2 right here. There's also a bracket here you might have to undo. I did have screws in there before, I guess they fell off, so we're going to do the other side now. And that should be it to pull off this bumper. If I start pulling off right here, it should already be pretty loose. One thing about these, well, brackets that go right here on the bumper is you're gonna have to pull this plastic piece out or fold it down, and then right down there, you're not gonna be able to see it, but there is a screw that is holding the bumper to the fender. That screw needs to come off. And actually, if you look right through here, you might be able to see it, but it's right there. So that one has to come off. You have to go under this plastic cover and do it that way. I do want to note, whenever you do pull this off and you have parking sensors, you will need to disconnect this connector right here. It'll be on the passenger side if your car is left-hand drive, so basically on the right side of the car. This kit does call for us to take this bar off. I really did not want to do that. This is probably one of the parts that I actually hate the most about this kit. But right now I'm looking for efficiency. I'm not looking so much for look. If there's a way for me to put this back at a later date and I'm able to do that without affecting how this is going to fit here, then I'll do it. But right now we're going to go ahead and take this off the way that Vader Solutions wants us to do it. So we're going to take this off. There are going to be 2 big bolts, one right there, and there's one right there, and then we're going to have to remove these bolts up here to free this up and for us to be able to move it out of the way. Alright guys, for this bolt that is right there holding down the bars, you can access it from up top. If you decide to do that, you're going to need an extender, and it's the same on the other side. They're pretty accessible. On this side, you will have to remove this plastic tube right here in order to reach it. But let's go ahead and take care of this driver's side, and I'll show you how to do that. For this plastic piece, I'm going to show you how I'm going to take it out. I think the best way to do that is to actually grab it and pull it out this way. I actually found out it's rubber. It's not even actual plastic, so it should be a little bit flexible, and we should have enough room to take it out. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to remove this bar, and I'm going to keep this. This is going to go back on. Alright guys, so this next part, this is something I like to do every single time that I'm putting a new intake in, just to give myself an idea of how things are going to fit. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this coupler that's included within the kit. This is the coupler that goes from the intake elbow to the actual intake pipe. And I'm just going to place it on, and I want to see how it fits. Once I have an idea of how it fits, I can pretty much go from there. So alright, this is pretty much on there, and I'm not going to put any clamps on there yet. I want to go ahead and try to put this on. So if you need to grab like a pick tool or something to get this fit right, you can. So right here it looks like the pipe is in a pretty good fit. So right there it looks perfect, to be honest. So the pipe looks like it's sitting right. Alright guys, now that I have that in place pretty much, you can see here the pipe is sticking out. And that's from the intake pipe. And we have this elbow that we have to put in here. Just kind of route it. And so this is what I'm talking about. This is what I wanted to see first, see how everything fit before I start thinking about clamping things down, because clamping things in here is going to be pretty hard. And I'm thinking that one of the things that I'm going to have to do is going to have to be removing this plate right here. And then once I have this off, I think this will be much easier to do. So let me go ahead and remove this whole plate. This should give me enough space to go ahead and install it properly. Alright guys, now to put this pipe in, I've been playing with it a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw, but I scratched it all up. So with that, I do want to say be careful for this edge. This edge might scratch your pipe up. If you have some sort of padding or something you could put right there, to go ahead and do that. Mine scratched up. I don't feel like taking it back to pattern coating place and getting it powder coated again, only for me to mess it up again. If I would have known that was an issue and that I was actually scraping it, I would have maybe not done as much damage, but it's done. It is what it is. Alright, so what I've done is I've already clamped this elbow onto the pipe. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in through. And then the way I angled the clamp, it should go right in. There we go. Got it in. Just like I imagined I would. Just need a little bit of wiggling it around. And that looks like it fits right where it's supposed to be honest. This pipe might go down lower. Make sure there's enough of a clamping point. This looks solid right there. That looks really good. I'm actually pretty happy with that. So now I'm going to work on putting these clamps on. The clamps that go on this elbow right here. The reason I wanted to keep it like this and like do the clamps later is because I wanted to see how to fit it, but now that it's on, I really don't want to take it out and do it all over again. It was a pain to put it in there, so I'm just gonna, you know, not be lazy and open these up and reclamp them. So this kit includes a 100mm clamp for the bottom side, and honestly, like, that's fine if you have a regular intake or like on a hybrid turbo. But on the BigBoost kit, that pipe is really wide. It's not working. So I'm gonna have to use a regular warm gear clamp on the bottom. I don't think this is a big point of concern as far as boost. The charge pipe is a bigger concern, intake not so much. Alright, so this is clamped down and it's secured. So now let's get on with the filter section of it. Alright, the next part we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start clamping this filter in, right? So to do that, we're going to use the clamps that we were provided. So we're going to use the other 92mm clamp that they provided. And if you look at this little pipe, it's kind of curved in right on this edge. We want this actually going in like this. It's going to provide that curvature for basically the air to flow a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and stick this in, and you want to leave just enough of that red pipe that you're able to clamp on this section right here. So we'll use another 12mm. Alright, now we have to put this back on now that this is like this. The problem that we're going to have is that this hole is a little too narrow, so we're going to have to cut it out, I'd say about 1 inch from here. And then I'm going to go cut it with a little saw blade, and then I'm going to come back and show you. Alright, so here is my cut piece. So we're going to stick this through. Alright guys, the last part in the installation of this intake, going in, and we're actually going to push it beyond where it stops. Go all the way in there like that. So this is what it looks like with the bumper off. And now we're going to put the bumper back on and see what the final result is like. Alright, that took way longer than expected, but the last thing I want to do is I want to actually put the map sensor in. That's the sensor right here. Just put it in. The kit also provides some screws, and that's how you're going to connect your map sensor. So we'll take our connector, plug it in, and we're done. Alright guys, so here it is. Here's the intake. Goes in through there. Here and to the front. It looks good. It doesn't look as bad as I thought it would, to be honest. Alright guys, so we have completed the installation of this intake. The Vader Solutions front mount intake. I'm going to be really honest with you guys, it is really difficult to put on, okay? I think the setup for it is really easy, you just have to take off the bumper and the brakes. But putting the intake in itself is kind of a challenge because, as you saw, you kind of have to put the elbow and the pipe in together at the same time. Lots of cuts, lots of dirt. Obviously it looks good, obviously I got it in there. I mean, after some trial and error, some of the stuff that I cut out that I didn't show in the video, I mean, yeah, it took a little while to put on there. Furthermore, I would say if you have something like a bump guard or something to go on this particular corner right here, it's going to help you out a lot because I don't know if you guys can see, but I scuffed up my pipe pretty bad. And I mean, it's not a big deal to me because I can get it recoated. I already talked to, actually while I was doing this, to the people that do my powder coating. They told me to take care of it. They know I do this kind of stuff, so stuff's gonna get damaged, but I think this is gonna be a challenge for anybody who buys it. Is it worth it? I think the jury's still out because I still haven't tested it, but it's such a good intake. I mean, any front mount intake that you see from any car is gonna be better than any intake that's gonna be in the engine bay because you're drawing fresh air from outside. I also did see a concern about rain. Rain is not gonna do much. I mean, even if a little bit of mist gets into your turbo, it's not gonna do anything. I mean, if you really think about it, some people that use WMI or water method injection inject just water into their cars, and they use that to cool temperatures, and you know, that steam also provides a little bit of energy, so it's not anything that I would say is gonna be problematic for you. I certainly wouldn't drive it through a puddle. But yeah, rain shouldn't be a big effect on it. Of course, if you have any questions, leave me those questions in the description down below. Contact me or contact Omar at Vader Solutions, and we'd be happy to answer any of your questions. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, give me a like, subscribe. Those likes are really important because it gets my video out there a little bit more, so make sure you click like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.